two, rock on. Check it out, y'all. 1, 2. Young lady, rock on. Check it out, y'all. 1, 2. Young lady, rock on. Check it out, y'all. 1, 2. Young lady, rock on. 1, 2. Young lady, rock on.
What's up, y'all? It's Kayslay Drama King. And once again, we are back. What's the Science Showcast? You understand? I say showcast because I'm putting on the show with the podcast. And we got a legendary hip-hop figure in the building.
Kayslay, ladies and gentlemen. Kayslay, the legend, in here in the building.
For real? Emcee Serch is in the building, man. What's going on?
I'm good.
Legendary third base.
I am good, brother.
What's going
I'm very
on with
glad
you,
to be here. I love this podcast, by the way. I love the Red Alert episode.
Thank
Crazy.
you.
I think it's real important. I hope a lot of young people catch some ears to this and some eyes to this because they can learn a lot.
Definitely. If they open their ears, they can free their mind. So basically, I had to get you up here. You understand what I'm saying? It's very necessary being that you were there in the beginning.
It really was necessary. I should have been the third.
Well,
third base.
All right.
So you should have had somebody else, like Marley maybe, and then me, because then I would have been third for third base.
Well,
Never
you're
mind. That's
actually
okay.
about fourth.
Oh, I'm a fourth. Oh, I'm technically I've been recorded fourth.
Exactly.
But we're gonna show it second. Who's on third?
Who's on third?
I don't know.
Easy Mo B.
There it goes. Okay.
Big look right there. So look,
I love Easy Mo B.
and he's a very real down to earth brother. Played a very intricate part of hip hop.
Incredible records that he
such
produced.
as yourself.
Thank you, brother.
So what I want to ask you is, what was your first introduction to the hip hop culture?
Brian Piccolo, IS-53, middle school, 7th grade, 1979. All of my homeboys who had government names like Julius Johnson and Gregory Rawls became Lord Sharp-born Unique Mathematics Allah. And they were coming around with these tapes, third and fourth generation cassette tapes that we'd be playing in the ball court. And it was like Albino Twins, and it was like Coca La Rock, and it was like the Kango Crew doing Hillbilly Girl, and it was like all these little skits that we were hearing at the parties. And I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought it was like routines and people doing things in the park.
Yeah.
And then the b-boying came out. Dudes started dancing. All my boys started dancing. And then I decided I didn't want to go to Far Rock High School, which was my local high school. I wanted to go to Music and Art High School.
You was from Queens?
Far Rockaway.
Okay.
Far Rockaway, Queens. Hamel, Redfern, Wavecrest, Secret Boulevard, B17. So I didn't want to go to Far Rock High School. I wanted to go to Music and Art. And I go into the basement for freshman orientation, and I'm hearing these dudes, and they're doing Hillbilly Girl. And I'm like, yo, I know that routine. Like, I heard that routine a couple of years back. Like, my boy used to play it on his tape.
Yeah.
So I go in the back corner of the lunchroom, and there's these dudes, and it's Lance Omega and Dana Dane and Ricky D, and they're doing Hillbilly Girl, Kango Crew. And then J. Cool from the Fresh 3 MCs, he's over here, and Vanilla B, who's the first white rapper I ever saw, Keo, a.k.a. Lord Scotch, a.k.a. Blake Latham. And I was hooked. I was done.
So, exactly what was your first rap name?
Emcee Serch.
Serch? No, because sometimes people.
Oh, I know.
No.
Right. No, so here's the thing. So when my boys, like my man Gregory and I, we knew each other from like kindergarten.
Okay.
Like, and he lived in Redfern Projects, and I lived down the block, and we were friends from like when little kids.
Yeah.
And then one day I'm like, Gregory, what up? Nah, Nah, Cypher, God, my name is Lord Shemel. You know, I'm like, okay, why'd you change your name? I can't tell you that. You a devil. I'm like, why am I a devil? Yo, because you a devil, man. You don't understand 1 to 10s. You don't do the knowledge, B. You a devil. So I kept asking questions. Like, yo, why you always searching for the answers, man? I'm going to call you Serch now on, motherfucker. Like, yo, stop searching for shit.
Wow.
So I told my homegirl, who was a graffiti writer, Too Cute, who used to write with Sonic, and she was like, yo, that's a dope graffiti name, Search. Like, you should tag that. So I started tagging it, and then that's how I spelled it for the first start of high school. And then my homeboy Kevin Armour, for my 16th birthday, he bought me a nameplate belt buckle.
Yeah.
But if, as you remember, the 5-letter ones, they were like $35, but the 6-letter ones were like $55.
Exactly.
And it was $5 for each letter. So he tried to cram in the 5-letter one 6 letters, Search, and the A kept falling out. So I was like, damn, that kind of looks kind of cool, Search. So I just left it like that.
Stuck with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you formulate the group Third Base with Pete Nice?
Yeah, so I was signed originally as a soloist to Rush Management.
Okay.
And I was working with Sam Sever on my solo record. And you know, and you'll appreciate this, but you know when you do a record and you think it's really good because you're in the zone with it, and like you hear it in the headphones, and you hear it in the big speakers, and then you go home and you're like, something's not right.
All the time.
I don't know what it is. So I'm doing all these demos and everybody's telling me, yo, they're dope. And I'm like, skeptical, not really. Like, but I'm, whatever.
Yeah.
So one day, Sam calls me. He's like, yo, you need to come by the crib. And Sam Sever, he did Mantronics. He did Hanson and Davis. He did Trufford and Leather. He did all my demos. He's like, yo, Dante Ross, who was our guy at Rush, told me about this dude who was in the studio and he got stuck. Clark Kent was supposed to hook him up and do some production, but he fronted. Okay. So Sam kind of went in and then he worked with this dude and he's like, yo, you need to hear dude because dude is signed to Rush too, and he's like, he's dope. So I'm like, all right. So I come all the way from Far Rockaway to Canal Street to Sam's crib, and I see this dude and I knew him. It's like Pete Nice. Like I knew dude from like around the way because Lumumba Carson was managing him at the time. So I'd seen him outside the Latin Quarter, and like he was doing that radio show at KCR with Clark Kent and with Daddy Rich. So I knew money. So I'm like, oh, Pete, what up? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm working on Blasey Split. So I said, cool. And then he played this sample and it was like, bam, 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 bam. And I was like, oh, and then I heard hard as Chinese arithmetic, avant-garde, not a heretic, pick out and I was like, oh shit, wait a minute, hold up. Hold the fuck up, hold up. And I just wrote, and I was like, yo, let's go to the lab right now. So we went to Chung King, got in the studio and made 3 joints. We made Words of Wisdom, Triple Stage Darkness, and Product of the Environment. And that was the start of Third Base.
Wow. So who signed the group?
So Def Jam signed the group originally. We signed a real great deal. Gave up all of our publishing, got 4 points, and a $15,000 advance. Great deal. One of the best deals I ever signed in my life.
Back then, $15,000 deal was a lot of money.
I'm being sarcastic. I'm being a neurotic Jew sarcastic motherfucker right now. That was a bullshit deal. Let me tell you something funny. So Daddy-O is my man. He's like, yo, you need to go see.
That's a Sonic Daddy-O?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're right. I need to clarify young people. So Daddy-O, Stetsasonic, he used to take me on the road. So he's like, I'm going to go take you to Tom Silverman and Tommy Boy. You guys should sign a Tommy Boy. And Dante had already went over there and he was already doing the De La Soul record and signed Queen Latifah. So I'm like, that might be a dope fit. So we go over there and we're like, yo, we want this and this and this. And he's like, I can't give you that. Like, that's more money than Stetsasonic got. Like, I can't tell a black man that I gave a white man more money, for a rap record.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I already had it in my head that I'm supposed to get jerked because I'm white. You know what I mean? Like, I already have this, like, complex. Like, I'm just blessed to be here as a white man doing black music. Like, so whatever you give me, I will take. And because I'm blessed to be here, because I didn't have to get a ghetto pass. Like, you didn't have to give me one. Brothers could have kicked me off stage at the Latin Quarter. Kids could have, that wasn't the case. Like I got accepted. So I was like, cool, I'll sign whatever. And I figured that would be my paying dues. You know what I'm saying? So it was funny because my mom supported my whole career, may she rest in peace. And when I signed my deal, she gave me 2 letters. And the first letter was a letter telling me how proud she was of me and that I accomplished my dreams and I set out for a goal and I tried to reach it. And I really wouldn't understand what I had done until I had children of my own and they went out for their own dreams and they tried to do whatever. And she said, but the hard work starts now. When you sign to the contract and you sign to a label, now the work really starts. Like everything that you did up to that point is really nothing compared to the work you have to do. And the second letter was a bill, light, electric, rent, car insurance, $17,936.43. And she wanted to know how I was going to pay it. So I had only $15,000. So I gave her $5,000. And I said, listen, I'll give you the rest with my ASCAP royalties. And for you young people, that's when your record plays on the radio, you get a check, because you get a percentage of the commercials BMI, that are on there.
ASCAP.
Right, ASCAP, CSAC, Sound Exchange, like all of that. So for like 10 years, my mom would call me and she'd go, Michael, your record played in Israel 6 times. You made $1.71 this month. And it played in Germany and you made $2.31 and you got a check for $58 this month. And she just loved it. Like she loved it. Every month I'd get the call like, and did you know if your record plays on Z100, you make a whole $1 as opposed to... So she loved all of that shit.
Wow.
So in 1997, she sent me a letter that showed the amount and paid in full. And then the rest of the royalties went to my kids.
Beautiful look right there.
Yeah, she was incredible. My mom was an incredible lady. And she supported me. Like I had a choice, either go to school on a 4-year music scholarship or become a rapper, and she supported me being a rapper.
So you brought up an interesting point, and I was going to ask you that question. Like, how hard was it for you being a Caucasian artist at that time, being accepted in a urban culture? So
that's a great question. So the only MC I'd ever seen who was white was my man Vanilla B, and he was the only kid, and he was down with Dana and Rick because he was from Gates and Green over in Brooklyn. So I would be writing rhymes, and I wouldn't spit them to anybody. And when they were beating on the tables, you'd hear me mumbling like, "What'd you say?" No, I didn't say nothing. I'm good. I'm over here good. And then I would slowly kind of get my shit together, and I was slowly kind of learning my skills. And then when I graduated and my mom said, yo, if you're going to do this, you got X amount of time to do it, I went hard to the paint.
Okay. So
my man Understanding and my man Mathematics, they would set up battles for me all through the 5 boroughs. Vandermeer Projects, Marcy, Gates, like everywhere. And they would, like, all the hustlers, they knew all of those dudes. And they'd be like, yo, my man want to battle Blase Blah. 100. What's your man's name? Serch. I ain't never heard of him. Cool. Nah, you battle him. I'd come out the train and they'd see me and those brothers be like 200, 250, 250.
I'm a bacon.
Right. And I would just I'd play stupid. Mullet haircut, like crazy Australians, tight ass shorts, like, whatever. And I always let them spit first. I'd let them spit first and I'd hear them. But I was nice off the top of my head. So I'd pick them apart with every rhyme they said. And I'd be like, nah, you shouldn't have said that. You should have said this. And now how I'm going to, and then I would go and kids would just spaz out. So I won battle after battle after battle. And my rep kind of got around the city like, yo, there's this white kid and he's nice. Like, he's kind of nice. And then my first record came out called Melissa, which was a brick. But it got me performing and people were like, oh, he can rhyme off the top of his head, but he can't make a song. Mm-hmm. But people just love the fact that I worked so hard at honing my craft and like going out and doing shows. And for like from 84 to like 89, like anything that happened in New York hip hop, I was there. Like I was in the hospital lobby when they said Scott LaRock was dead. You know what I mean? And I saw Melody and KRS come down and say, yo, we just got to keep it moving forward. And Scotty Morris is crying. And like every important, impactful moment, KRS battling Melly Mel at Latin Quarter, I was there. Like, just all this shit. And I just felt so blessed to be allowed. You know what I mean? Like it was just an amazing experience for me. So I was just like, yo, that's what I want to be. I want to be an MC the rest of my life. So paying the dues and signing the bad deal and all of that, I was like, yo, if that's going to get me where I need to be, so be it. I'll just make sure that the kids that come behind me, they don't get a deal like I just got.
So fast forwarding a little bit.
Okay.
To the success with Third Base. What was the first album that y'all recorded together?
So the first album we did was the Cactus album.
Okay.
And we did that. We recorded it in 87 and 88, and it sat for a year. Def Jam didn't put it out because they said Russell and Lior kept saying we didn't have a hit. We didn't have a hit. So I'm gonna tell you a story I haven't really told a lot of people. So Lior calls me one day, and he says, Rakim has writer's block. I want you to write a song for Rakim.
Wow.
And I'm like, and Rakim's my favorite. I mean, to me, to this day, I mean, and there's been a lot of great hip hop. Don't get me wrong. Even Lights Please, J. Cole, and Exhibit C. There's a lot of great records that came out. But I Ain't No Joke to me is the most perfect rap record ever made. Like, just. So I'm like, damn, I gotta write a record for Rakim. Like, this is mind blowing.
Yeah.
So I call Pete, go to my crib. I'm like, damn, what would Rakim say? What would Rakim say? And I start thinking about Rakim's voice. And I'm like, ready in the intro. Cue up the searchlight. B is to the center stage. I grab the first mic, projecting the voice with this mic, then I'm cuffing. You ain't my knuckle, suck, I'm snuffing. The word of Rakim stands true, so no panicking. Man versus man, you freeze. And I hear his voice, and I'm like writing, like a mile a minute. I'm writing. Eric B and Rob keep you stepping to the AM. I'm like, that's it. That's the shit.
So what you're saying right here, right now, is you assisted I Ain't No Joke.
No. What I'm saying is I wrote Step Into the AM for Rakim.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. And I heard his voice, and like, because I heard his voice in my head, I wrote those rhymes. So the next day I go to Rush and I go to Lior. I said, yo, I got one. I got one for Rakim. It's not a problem. And they call Eric B. And Lior gets on the phone and he goes, in his thick Israeli accent, Eric, I have Serch here. He wrote a record for Rakim. And I go, yo, Eric, what up, man? It's Serch. I wrote this song called Step Into the AM. Here it goes. Click. Ooh.
That's why you had me
right?
for a second. I know
so then Denise, remember Denise who used to work the reception desk?
Yeah, exactly.
Denise goes, Lior, Eric's online too. He wants to talk to you by himself. So in like 15 minutes, then Simone, who is Lior's and Russell's assistant, says, Lior says don't move until he tells you to come upstairs. I'm downstairs for 4.5 hours. Dead silence. Nobody's talking to me. I'm in the back of the room. I'm reading like Beastie Boy fan mail and Slayer fan mail. Like I'm just trying to bide my time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Lior finally calls me up and he's like, yo, why didn't you tell me you had beef with Eric B? I'm like, what are you talking? Like, I didn't know I had beef with Eric B. I love Eric. Like, I used to drive Eric from the Latin Quarter to Wine Dance. Like, when he put out Eric B for President on Zakia, like, he gave me the second, like, white vinyl pressing of that record. Like, I love Eric. I didn't know I had beef with Eric. Anyway, whatever happened between me and Eric and whatever happened with Rakim, 3 weeks later, Follow the Leader was done. And I was like, oh, but this is a banger. If Rakim ain't using these lyrics, me and Pete are gonna use them. So I went to Lior and I said, Lior, like I wanna work with the Bomb Squad. And he called Keith Vietnam and Hank, and we went in and I said those rhymes and they were like, yo, that's crazy. And it took us 2 days. We did Step Into the AM, and then right after that we got with Prince Paul and did Gas Face in Brooklyn, Queens, and then they were happy, and then the record and the album came out.
So now that's a lot of ancient history that hip hop I didn't know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people didn't know.
Ancient history.
Yeah, look, I didn't know it. I didn't know it, man.
But it's funny. It's like, for me, it's literally like, it feels like yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like yesterday
right,
when I
course.
But you're right. It's damn near like 28 years ago.
Exactly. So everybody like that's hearing this is gonna be like, damn.
Wow, that's crazy. Right. No, you're absolutely right. And a lot of people don't even know that record. So, there it is.
So again, fast forwarding to third base.
Mm-hmm. How
did y'all part ways? Like, what brought about the separation?
I mean, the bottom line is Pete disrespected my wife. So
do we even have to talk about that? Can we just leave that alone?
Yeah, sure. That's the bottom line, though.
Yeah,
you don't disrespect my wisdom, and and he did, and it was, and he didn't apologize, and it was a wrap.
All right, so that was that. But how do y'all stand today?
We don't talk.
I didn't even know that.
No, here's the thing, and let me just explain to you. Let's keep it 100, because I mean, you and I know each other since we're 16 years old.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
damn near.
Yeah.
Okay, so in 2013, a dear friend of mine, my man Mikey Palms, had a club in Brooklyn called SRB. He's like, look, I'm turning 40. I only want one thing. He's like, I want a third base reunion. He's like, please, man, I've done so much for you guys. Can you just do one show for me? I said, sure. You know what? That's fine. No problem. And I had to be in New York the next day because 1-9 and those guys were doing the Illmatic documentary, and they needed to be recorded. So everything kind of worked out. And I was like, look, pay Rich and Pete. You don't even have to pay me. Just pay those dudes. We're good. And we get on stage, and Pete's lip syncing lyrics, and he don't remember shit. And I'm getting so embarrassed. My hands are shaking. And as it stands, I have a tremor because of this medication I take. But I was like this, like I looked like I had Parkinson's on stage. Right?
Oh, shit.
So this is like a nightmare. Like, and the crowd is still going crazy. It's 1,500 people, pouring rain, like they're going crazy, and I'm shaking like I'm like Michael J. Fox in that bitch, right? And like, they're just like people going crazy. So I'm like, oh, this is whatever. I'm like, good, it's over. And 2 days later, this guy calls and is like, yo, this guy in Indiana, so you guys performing. He wants you to perform in Indiana at this big festival. So I tell my wife, I'm like, yo. She's like, look, okay, you can do this other show, but as long as you go into Indiana, do the show and come home. There's no overnight. You're not staying with those knuckleheads. It's all good. So we do that show. I figured, Pete would have some time to get ready, whatever. He doesn't get ready. And then Daddy Rich calls me. He's like, yo, can you advance me some money against that show? I'm like, sure, no problem. So we go do the show in Indiana. Great crowd, great turnout, da-da-da-da-da. We go get paid. Rich comes over to me. He's like, yo, where's my money? I'm like, where's your money? Where's your money? Yeah. Like, I lent you the money against this show.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, you don't need that, man. You paid. You don't need. I'm like, why are you looking in my pockets? Like, don't look in my pocket. Don't worry about me. We had a deal. You're a grown-ass man. Like, you said if I lent you this against the advance of the show, I would get this.
Back.
Oh, that's fucked up. I'm like, how is that fucked up? I'm like, Rich, man, I got to go. I got a plane to catch. So I leave. So about a month later, we're getting calls. A month tour through Texas, 3 months in Europe. Like, we're getting all these calls, and I'm already working with Prez and PMI, and I'm doing the Global Spin Awards and all of that. So I'm trying to convince my wife that she should let me go on tour because there's a lot of money involved.
Exactly.
And my wife, Chantel, said, if you want to go on the road with those knuckleheads, just divorce me. I don't want nothing to do with it.
All right, that's the end of that.
And that's what I said, and that's the end of that. And I said, that's the end of that. So I called Mikey, and I said, Mikey, I'm sorry, I can't do the dates. And he said, why? I said, it's not important why. The point is I can't do the dates.
Can't do it. Case in point.
He said, but the promoter just advanced Pete $10,000 against those shows, and I gave Pete $2,500. I'm like, well, that's my name's Paul, and that's between y'all. Like, he got show me the contract. I didn't sign nothing. You shouldn't have done that. So they get all pissed. So about 3 months ago, we get a call from a promoter in Pittsburgh, and he's like, yo, 100 G's, New Year's Eve in Pittsburgh, third base, 30 minutes.
Wife got to be mad now.
No, not even wife got to be mad.
She just gotta be mad.
Mikey goes to Daddy Rich and Pete first, and they're thirsty. So they're like, yo, get Serch. Like, he ain't going to say no to that money. I was like, no, I'm not doing the show. Rich goes on Twitter talking about I fucked prostitutes on the road. I try to fuck his girl. Like, all some kind of foul, just crazy. Like, and he got like 60 followers or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like crazy, like nuts. And Pete's, you know, like, so I'm like, yo, I wish you guys all the best. God bless both of you. I hope you work out your problems. I hope that whatever is going on in your life, you rectify, but don't ever talk to me again.
Oh, yeah, so it's over then.
I'm sorry. I wish it was a better story, but it's not. It's a fucked up tale.
So, bringing us a little bit up to date.
Yeah.
After the breakup with Third Base.
Mm-hmm.
You got into management. You've been on MTV. You've had reality shows.
Mm-hmm.
You've done a lot.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, what was your first transition, and what are some of the things you did leading up to now?
Well, I believed in always having a plan. So I wasn't gonna be. Well, I didn't even think about that you could be 40 years old in ramen.
Exactly.
Like that was not even in the equation. So I was like, well, I want to produce. I want to executive produce. I want to find artists. I want to take care of people better than I was taken care of. You know what I mean? Like that. And I started working on a solo album, and I met Nas, and Nas asked me to help him, and I took care of his deal. And OC told me he wanted, to work together, so we did Word Life, and so I really kind of transitioned into executive shit. But the truth was, I wasn't really ready to be an executive. I was more ready just to be around the music and the culture.
But wasn't you the one that brought Nas' career into fruition in the beginning?
Kind of.
You
assisted? Large Professor really gave him his shine at Live at the Barbecue on Breaking Atoms. But Nas really couldn't get a fair deal because people were still doing those 1989 deals in 1993. And if I signed Nas, and I knew in 93 he was going to be the greatest MC of all time. Like, I just knew it. Like, done. So I knew I couldn't let this man get jerked, but I also couldn't be the Jew behind the scenes who gets all the money either. I didn't want to be that devil either, because there's countless devils, Jews that were just foul to black artists. So I had this thought in my head that I'm going to make sure Nas is taken care of. I'm going to make sure O is taken care of. I'm going to get mine what is properly due mine. Proper points, but I'm gonna make sure Nas is taken care of. So Nas got taken care of on a lot of different levels. I don't own Nas's publishing, contrary to the belief.
The Jay-Z
right?
line.
I don't own Nas. I administer his publishing, and the difference is, if I owned it, I would own 50% of the controlled copyright, and a controlled copyright, for those who are watching, is when you write a rhyme. That's your copyright. You own that portion. And the producer who makes the music, he owns that portion. And two portions make a whole. So I would own 50%. I don't. All I do is when a license comes in, like for the Hennessy deal, take that, right? The music and Nas's thing. All I do is this. Check looks good. This looks good. Breakdown looks good. Send it to Nas, have him sign it, let him cut the check.
Overseer.
Done. Okay. And that's it. And that's done. And I get my little check. It's my little mailbox money for the rest of my life, but it certainly doesn't come close to what Morris Levy got at Roulette and what he took from Phyllis Hyman, or what a lot of these jackals took from black artists. I wanted these guys to be taken care of, and like Nas recouped, he made money from record 10. Like, he made money, when we went platinum on Illmatic, he was straight.
Okay.
And when we did 4 million on It Was Written, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. He was good for the rest of his life. So I wanted to be that guy. That's who I wanted to be. And then I transitioned. I said, well, I'm not going to get rich this way. So I got to figure out my shit. So I was like, okay, well, what am I good at? Well, I love doing radio. I love talking on the radio, but I love talking to program directors about records. Oh, wait, there's a whole division in music called radio promotion. So I could do that. So I started doing that and started working records. And then I went to Def Jam, and I was the national director of Crossover. But then, people were like, oh, you got a good voice. You should do radio. So then I did that. And I was on JLB in Detroit for 3 years, and we were the #1 morning show there. And then that turned into, oh, my man got a TV show. He's got an idea, the White Rapper Show. I want you to host it. So then we did that. And that led to a deal with NBC Universal that I sat home for 3 years while they developed the show for me. And then we did Miss Rap Supreme, and we did that. And then, you know, building Echo Unlimited and Def Jam and all the things that I built brought Nouveau to me. And then I partnered in Nouveau, and then we created that. And then we sold that to Diageo in 2010. So it's like, I just got really good at building things.
So that was the first show you did on TV?
No. The first show I did was with Dougie Doug.
Yeah.
That Dougie Doug show.
Exactly.
What was that show called?
Because I remember you on TV way before.
Yeah, no, it was like in 89, 90 with me and Dougie Doug. Not 92, 93. I forgot the name of the show. It was a rap. It was like a hip hop Saturday Night Live. I can't remember the show, but that was the first show.
So now, I got 2 more questions I'm gonna ask.
Sure.
You.
Yeah.
First one is, how important is it for the artists of today who are really, I can't call them culture vultures because they wasn't taught to know where the culture comes from that they're getting the money off of, but they just have no idea. You understand what I'm saying? That they should know the history of the artist and why they could not know the history or not be that talented as some of the artists were back then, but make more money. How important is it for them to know the history of the culture?
Well, I want to answer that in 2 parts.
Break it down.
Part 1 is you have artists today that I feel are the biggest iconoclasts of the new artists. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Kanye West, Jay Electronica, who respect the shit out of the culture, who know the history of the culture. And because of that, it transcends in their music.
Exactly.
So they understand the difference between an Ice Cube on America's Most Wanted and an Ice Cube on, you know, Wanted, Dead or Alive, or whatever that record was with him and Dre. Like, they know the difference. Kendrick knows the difference. J. Cole knows the difference between Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z and American Gangster Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? And they study that. And there's like Mad Skills had a whole thing about that too. Like, so there's certain people that transcend a career because they understand that. The second part of that is that you will have artists like Migos, like Travis Scott, like Young Thug, like you know, those kids. But to them, their history is Soulja Boy Tell 'Em and how he did his thing independently, or Rich Homie Quan. So their history is limited because they're only 20 years old, 21 years old. So their limited history only shows them that, like, look, this guy was an independent artist who made it happen on his own. Who's his manager? Oh, Coach K is his manager. I need to link up with Coach K. Oh, no, not Coach K. Or then this one and this one. Or you look at Dave East and Troy Ave, who they looked at other independent artists like Mano and Fab, and they copied their careers, or D Block. So there's 2 sets of school here. We all can't be 50 years old in 2017.
Exactly.
Some people aren't blessed with that. So you have either an acknowledgement, and that puts you in one place, or you have a short-term memory of what you see around you that has been successful, and that puts you in that place.
That's real talk. And I think it's just a matter of them understanding the difference between longevity, where people hit third base and be like, okay, it could look, or instant gratification, where 5 years from now, it's like nothing happened.
Right. And again, and I think that also has a lot to do, with if you are a one-hit wonder, right? Mm-hmm. More times than not, you got lucky, right? Like lightning in a bottle, right? Found the right beat, you were zoning out, you were whatever, you got in the studio, you did whatever, you hit a lick. And we all can hit a lick. You know, like I was hearing Matthew McConaughey on Howard Stern. He was like, every day his dad got up and goes, boys, today I'm gonna hit a lick. You know, so we all had that mentality like, yo, today's the day. I'm gonna catch one today.
Yeah.
So a lot of these young dudes caught one. And the problem, what would happen is, yeah, they caught one, but because they didn't understand the business and they didn't surround themselves, and the only people they trust are the people that protected them in the hood. So it's whatever gang affiliation you had or whatever big homie you had, whatever, that's the only person you trust. And they have no knowledge of the music business. And they're now going into a lawyer's office, an A&R office, a promotion office, a marketing office. They're dealing with budgets and they're dealing with, release schedules and all of that. And they don't have enough wherewithal to say, hold up, you're my man and I love you and you can roll with me and I need you, but I need to hire blank's manager. I need to listen to the label and get, blank's manager. And I tell this people, I see this all the time. One of the things that Searchlight used to do is we did all the rookie orientations for the NBA Players Association. So we used to do all the parties, me and Cece, my old partner.
I don't know Cece, please.
And rookie orientation, these guys would sit down in this big room, right? And they're all excited. They're all young. They're all green. They're all about to be millionaires. And the guy at the front who was in charge of the Players Association, whoever that was at the time, would say, how many of you are rookies? And everybody would raise their hand. He goes, how many of you are going to be in the league in 3 years? And they would all keep their hands up. He goes, wrong. He goes, 2/3 of you will be out of the league in 3 years. That's the churn rate for the NBA. However, you will make enough money in the next 3 years that if you're smart, you can live comfortably the rest of your life. Here is a business manager. Here is an investment manager. This is given to you for free. We take nothing, no percentage, and they will advise you. It's free. Less than 1% of rookies in the NBA use those tools.
Makes sense. Same thing with the culture.
Right. So you'll have people that have a great start. What was homeboy's name at Def Jam who got $3 million? Like, had a huge record from Atlanta.
I know. All gold.
Right.
I know you're talking.
Right.
About Trinidad James.
Right. $3 million advance, $2 million publishing deal. Like, he is the savior. He's the next Kanye West out of Atlanta. Like, all of this. We are now 4 years later. Where is he? Right? No infrastructure, no proper management structure, no belief in the system. Like, all of a sudden, you want to be in the NBA, but then the second you get in NBA, they're like, they're trying to jerk me.
Yeah.
They're trying to give you free advice,
right.
Free legal counsel, whatever.
You don't want to take it.
Yeah, and one of my dear friends who played in the NBA for 14 years, Chucky Brown, he won 2 championships with the Houston Rockets. He played for the Pacers for 7 years, and he bounced around. He was a journeyman. I come to see him. He's now a chief. He's a talent guy for the Pelicans. So he'll come to Orlando, and I'll see him like twice a year. And he'll say, Serch, man, he goes, yo, when they told me that, that I might be broke in 2 years, he's like, he said, to this day, with his family and his 3 kids, what he lived on as a rookie, he lives on today. And he lives very comfortably. He don't have a Rolls Royce. He don't got 10,000 acres or whatever, all of that. But you know what he does have? Security and money in the bank.
He's good money.
For the rest of his life. And he took care of his family, and he took care of his mama, and he did the right thing.
That's what's up.
And a lot of these guys, they get so blessed, and there's been such a great golden path that's been given to a lot of these guys, and they don't learn from the mistakes that were made before. Jimmy Fallon, a week ago, and I don't know when this will air, but a week ago, said the Migos might be bigger than the Beatles on The Tonight Show. Right? That's a pretty big statement to make.
Very big statement.
You know what I mean? They're going to enter the Billboard 200 #1. Young cats. Quavo is like, he's the hot dude of the moment. He might break out and do solo, and everybody wants to work with him, and and all of this. And Coach K got him locked down, and Todd Moskowitz got them for legal, and you can see like they can do their shit and act, and they can be bad and bougie, but their infrastructure got them protected. They're insulated.
Yeah, they're good.
They're insulated. You know what I mean? Rich homie Quan got Coach K. insulated. He can be indie the rest of his life. He's good money, right? There's certain people that get very lucky in making a great record, and then they get very lucky having great people around them, and they get really lucky by saying, you know what? I'm going to be honest and say, I don't know shit. I'm not going to act like I know shit. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to let the Most High steer this wheel and say, you know what? I don't know shit. I need people around me that have done this for 20 years who know shit and that can help me and benefit me and have me have a music career. You know what I mean? And those are the difference. The Kendrick Lamars are way different. The Games are way different. The Fabs are way different. Those Fat Joe is another perfect example.
Yeah.
Those guys are way different, and they have these legacy careers because they learn from their mistakes. They bring the right people. They pick the right people. They pick the right beat. Look, Khaled, another example, right? Just learned as he went. Made a mistake, fixed it. Made a mistake, fixed it. Had the right people around him, J1 and this one, and then he went to CAA, and he fixed it.
That's what's up. Yo, look, man, you done broke down the whole game again. What's the science? You understand what I'm saying?
This is the dopest podcast right now in hip hop, period. This is great shit, like, period. And I wouldn't say this if I was on it, because Red Alert dropped gems.
Man.
Gems. I can't wait to see the Easy Mo B one. Do the Easy Mo B one first before mine so I can see it.
Sure, you want to see Easy Mo B?
I would love to see that.
I got Reggie Reg from the Crash Crew. I got Waterbed Kev.
And I heard you're doing Crazy Legs.
Yeah, come on, man. You letting too much noise.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
We gotta get him up out of here, yo.
Yeah, okay.
You want to give any shout outs right quick?
I want to shout out everyone who loves hip hop. Period.
That's it. What's the science? Stay tuned.
Warning. The Drama King is in the building. The Drama King is in the building.